Hey everyone, Brian here, Hodges1455, coming at you with another video. In today's video, I'm doing a video response for Dan over at Old Sarge Collects, and he wants us to share our two favorite franchises and kind of the origins around how we became a fan, the who, the why, the when, the where, and also just share one of our favorite cards from each team in our collection. So I have a Pirates card and a Tigers card. My favorite Pirates card right now is this 1972 Laughlin Great Feats of Max Carey. This is an autographed copy. I just feel really blessed to have this copy because Max Carey passed away just a few short years after this set came out. So even though this is not a signed autographed Playing Days card of Max Carey, it's still really cool, and I just appreciate it and enjoy looking at it. A great base stealer back in the early 1920s. And then representing my Tigers fandom is this 2023 Gilded Collection card of Riley Greene. And Riley Greene is my favorite player on my favorite team right now. So I picked this card to represent the Tigers fandom in my collection. And just love the set. This Topps Chrome 2023. Love the design. And the Gilded Collection, of course, is numbered to 99. It's just a really cool card. I can look at this for a while and just really enjoy it and appreciate it. Really looking forward to watching Riley Greene play this year. So just a quick background on my collecting journey as a kid. I began collecting cards in the summer of 1990 when I was 5 years old. I grew up in Northeast Ohio, so all the kids I knew when I was a little kid were all Indians fans. And I started trading cards with my friends when I was 7 and quickly learned that I could trade Indians cards of Carlos Baerga or Kenny Lofton or Albert Bell for loads of other cards. And this is when I became a team collector. Because all the kids I knew were Indians fans and I wanted to be different and I wanted to root for other teams. And so I picked out 3 different teams in 1992 to be team collectors of, 2 of which were the Pirates and the Tigers. And then in 1993, I added a 4th team when the Colorado Rockies became a franchise. And I followed all 4 of those teams for decades. But yeah, I remember just being able to trade cards of Indians for loads of other cards. I could get 8 or 9 cards for one Carlos Baerga or Kenny Lofton card. So my collecting just ballooned because I had like 7 different kids in my neighborhood that I could trade cards with, and then I had 3 or 4 different kids at school that I could trade cards with. So I was very blessed in that aspect, to be able to trade cards. And then of course it really ballooned when I was 10 years old. I got my first paper out, so I earned money for the first time. And of course, as a little kid, you don't have any bills or anything, and you can just spend your money on whatever you want. And I just remember picking up packs of baseball cards and going to the card shop and picking up some singles of players I really liked, or the local flea market, and just had a blast doing that. And of course, trading cards. So yeah, I got my first paper out when I was 10. When I was 11, I got my second paper out and my first lawn mowing job. And then when I was 12, I got my second lawn mowing job. So I was rolling in it, I felt like, as a little kid. So I got to buy lots of packs of cards, and that continued until I was halfway through my 7th grade year when I moved. So had just a blast trading cards as a kid. All right, so on to my Tigers fandom and how that began. It all began in 1992. I just loved baseball as a little kid, and I could get the Detroit Tigers on the radio in Northeast Ohio, the AM broadcasts, and I just remember falling asleep listening to Tigers baseball games. Just fond memories of that, and that helped solidify my Tigers fandom to this day. I also remember on the weekends even just flipping on the radio during the day, listening to a ball game and sorting cards, and just had a blast doing that. And then a couple other memories that really stuck out to me. So I mentioned I moved in the middle of my 7th grade year down to Central Ohio, and the first close friend I had was also a Tigers fan, so that really helped out a lot. I got to talk Tigers baseball with him, and we ended up going up to Detroit and watching a game together. So that was just a blast, something I'll never forget, and that still sticks out to me to this day. And then fast forward years later, I ended up getting married, and my father-in-law was a lifelong Tigers fan, so I still keep up with the Tigers and watch their games and get to talk Tigers baseball with my father-in-law, so that's really cool. That's kind of my background on the Tigers. And then the Pirates, my fandom really started when I was a little kid because of my grandma. She encouraged my collecting hobby, and would always have a little stack of baseball cards waiting for me when I would go to grandma's house. And she lived just north of Pittsburgh, up towards Erie, Pennsylvania, and which is where my mom grew up as well. And so my grandma was a big Pirates fan, and I remember one of the first players that she would have waiting for me was Willie Stargell, and I wouldn't have even known who Willie Stargell was had it not been for my grandma. So even to this day, whenever I see a Willie Stargell card, I get a smile and think of my grandma. Growing up, I really didn't get to watch very much baseball because my family just had an antenna. We didn't have cable back then. So I just watched the Fox Saturday baseball games of whoever was on, and oftentimes it would be the Indians and whoever they played. But I just remember it always being special because not only would I get baseball cards when I go to grandma's, but they had satellite, and so they got all the Pirates games, and I just remember thinking that was so cool that I got to watch Pirates games pretty much every day at grandma's house. So, and that just really helped my Pirates fandom as well as a kid. So, and that leads me to two of my fondest memories as a kid, as a Pirates fan, was I remember one night just sneaking watching the Pirates because I would sleep out in the pull-out couch bed, and of course the TV was out there in the living room, and I'd flip it on and turn it way down low, and I just remember one day they were playing out in Los Angeles against the Dodgers, and the game went 15 innings, and I was a little kid, and I just thought that was the coolest thing because I stayed up way late watching that game, and just thought it was the coolest thing ever. And then later on, at church camp one year, we all took buses and went to a Pirates game at the old stadium, and that's just something that stuck out to me as well. And I had a couple friends go with me that year, and it was just a blast. So, always been a Tigers fan, or Tigers and a Pirates fan since I was a little kid. So, thank you, Dan, for putting on this VR, and congrats on 300 subs. Thanks everyone for watching, and enjoy the hobby.